You can hit live.
Okay.
Edible arrangement delivered from TJ at Floormeisters
God, that's funny.
with a card that says "Happy Birthday." Just keeping it real.
That is funny.
He said, "I remember I was listening when it happened originally."
That's great.
He goes, "Heard Mark bring it up and said, you know what? I think it's time for it."
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Thursday. We're a week away from the big day, baby. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. How are you? How's your week going? Morning,
Week
Mark.
is going all right. You know, the kids finally, last day of school, they're off after today. She's got a big thing going on with a friend today, so she's out of the house all afternoon. That's good for her, which is good for me because I can be lazier.
Big thing going on with a friend?
Yeah, it's her friend's birthday, and she's going over there and a whole to-do, and there's a lot going on. That's all.
I was going to say she's 11.
Well, it's a big thing for her.
I just don't know what a big thing is when you're 11 anymore. I mean, hell, I don't know what a big thing is for a guy turning 60. I mean, just about anything qualifies as a big thing for a guy turning 60. So,
exactly. And, we're a week away from Christmas. You and I are actually getting a couple of days off. The 24th and 25th, we'll run some best of. So getting ready for all of that. It's just a busy time of year. That's all.
It is. Yes, it is. Glad that your week's going well. You were surprised by the big news yesterday. You didn't think it was going to happen. You didn't think they were ready to cut the cord, rip the Band-Aid off, pick your cliche. But they did it.
Yes, they did. They did. Tua, put your ass on the bench. It's Quinn Ewers' time in Miami.
And whether it really is or not, or it's just we're done with Tua. We gave it 6 years. Hey, let me ask you a question, and it's a trivial one. Ryan Tannehill or Tua Tagovailoa? Best quarterback since Marino. Tannehill or Tua?
Jay Fiedler.
Okay. All right. Hey, he's got the only playoff win since Marino. So, he might be a medalist.
But that's the fascinating question. And I don't know, David. I think it may be Tannehill. Tua had some great moments. I don't have records in front of me. Didn't know you were going there this early, but I'd have to break down records and look at it and things of that nature because the yardage and stuff like that doesn't mean much to me. Tua played, for the most part, exceptionally well against bad teams. Up until this year, Tua was good against the bad against the good. That was pretty much the story with him. It failed. And Dolphin has been searching for Marino's replacement now for 2 generations, and they haven't been able to get one. And we thought it was Tua. It wasn't. So now it's time to move on. And I do find it interesting that when national people talk, look, yes, it's a $99 million cap hit. I understand that. If it's after June 1, it's spread over 2 years. Why don't people who cover football for a living ever explain that to people who are watching? I don't understand it, David. It drives me nuts, actually.
Well, quite frankly, there's a lot of things, Mark, that they don't fully explain, and therefore we don't understand. And the media should do a better job doing both. But yes, it's 99.2 million, and they can basically go 2/3 one year, 1/3 the next, or they can take it all at once. 99 seems to be a big number to take all at once, considering that they're probably going to eat Tyreek as well. So,
what's fascinating to me, and I don't know if it's going to happen, David, they may end up firing McDaniel. And it won't happen. I mean, we've known now that that's not going to happen if it happens until the season ends. I hope for all of you Dolphin fans, for your sake, that it does. But this experiment, the Tua Tyreek experiment, after, the Tua part was failing under Flores, they brought in McDaniel to resurrect Tua. It seemed to have worked for a short time, but it didn't get the job done. If he hangs on as coach, I really feel sorry for the Dolphin. I do.
By the way, statistically, Tua was better. Better completion percentage, better win-loss record, I believe. So if you go by the numbers, Tua was the better quarterback. They played roughly the same amount of time in Miami. Tannehill maybe a touch longer and more games. But I'm just throwing that out there. Quinn Ewers will be quarterback number 27 since Dan Marino retired. Quarterback 27.
We always associate that with the Browns.
Right.
It's about time that a Dolphin starts listing the quarterbacks on a jersey and showing up.
Right, because we've seen the pictures of the few Browns fans who walk in who have like all the names of the quarterbacks since they've come back into the league, right, on their jersey. You're right. Miami should. By the way, okay, just to refresh your memory, Jay Fiedler, Damian Heward, Ray Lucas, don't forget Ray Lucas, Brian Greasy, AJ Feely, Sage Rosenfels. Here we go. This was a really good era here, Mark. The Gus Frerotte, Dante Culpepper, Joey Harrington, Cleo Lemon, Trent Green run. Yeah. Okay. Former quarterbacks elsewhere, and we're going to resurrect them here. And yeah. Frerotte, Culpepper, Harrington. Oh, yeah. Cleo Lemon. John Beck. Chad
That was a
Pennington.
second-round draft pick they used on John Beck, everybody. I remember that vividly and wondered when they took him, why they did so.
Yeah, the Dolphins spent a lot of second-round picks on developmental quarterbacks, including Pat White, who never played for them. Chad Pennington had the one good year, got hurt. Chad Henne. Check down Chad. He holds a special place in my heart. What Cam Cameron holds in your heart, Mark, is what Chad Henne holds in mine.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, I actually think on this show I may have dubbed the Check Down Chad title to him. That's about when you and I got together, right? Was it Pennington or Check Down?
No, Pennington was the 08 season, and we got together in 06, and Henne came after Pennington.
Okay,
so it was early in our tenure. But Tyler Thigpen.
Oh,
Matt.
boy.
Hey, Matt Moore was the backup to Tannehill, actually started a playoff game. There are similarities between Tannehill and Tua also. Not only were they the two first-round quarterbacks taken since Marino, but, when Tannehill was quarterback in the Dolphins, they only made the playoffs once. He didn't start the playoff game. Matt Moore did because he had hurt his knee late in the season. First time Dolphins made the playoffs under Tua, he got hurt late in the season. He didn't play in the playoff game in Buffalo. All right. Skylar Thompson. Remember him? He played the playoff game in Buffalo. But let's get back to the list in order. After Matt Moore, you've got Ryan Tannehill. Remember Jay Cutler unretired? $10 million. to break away from Cavallari there and play 1 year with the Dolphins? We didn't know at the time they were on the outs. Brock Osweiler, after he got discarded in Denver, Dolphins took a shot on him. Ryan Fitzpatrick
served the Dolphins well.
Yes,
that
he
may
did.
have been the answer. Tua Tannehill, I'll go Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay. Josh Rosen. Remember him? The guy who loved tennis?
9 teams are going to regret not taking me when Arizona took him 10th overall.
Correct. Right. Tua, Jacoby Brissett, Teddy Bridgewater, the aforementioned Skylar Thompson, Tyler Huntley, and now Quinn Ewers. There you have it. That's the list post
Because
Marino.
we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins 27.
There you
Wow.
go. Yep.
27 quarterbacks have started since Marino, and not one of them's been worth a damn. I'll take Ryan Fitzpatrick. On that list, I will take Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay. All right.
Who are you taking as the
best quarterback since Marino?
Yeah.
I think I'm going Tannehill. Okay. Statistically, it is Tua. There's no doubt about it. I mean, 2022, 2023, Tua statistically had monster years, took the Dolphins to the playoffs both times. Last year led the league in completion percentage. That's a misleading stat nowadays with so many passes thrown at or behind the line of scrimmage. But, I mean, statistically, you look at Tua. Remember, his stat line Monday night. You know, the first 3 quarters, he's got 65 yards passing. At the end of the game, he's 22 and 28 for like 240, 2 TDs and a pick. You look at that and you go, that's not bad. Of course, he had a QBR of 12. For those that believe in that sort of thing. That cut through the numbers. But
so 21,000, Dolphin, you just got the list. We'd love to know who you think the best quarterback since Marino has been. I'm taking Fitzpatrick. David's taking Tannehill. That means neither of us are taking Tua.
Which is shocking because Miller and Moulton were very much on the Tua wagon. We were on the Tua train.
We definitely were. We'll get to meaningful football coming up because there's a monster Thursday night game tonight. Number 1 seed in the NFC could be at stake tonight as the Seahawks and Rams go at it.
It's a monster
We're a day
game.
away from the college football playoff starting with Alabama and Oklahoma tomorrow night. And the system delivers again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miller and Moulton may not be doing well with football picks on Friday, but the system, it's making it all up.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Look up, David. There you go. Okay. I when
I
your
know.
head's down, I didn't know if you were frozen. I just wanted to. You were frozen that whole segment. It's time now to guess what it would cost to get into the Miami Dolphins game on Sunday.
Oh.
What is the cheapest ticket right now, according to StubHub? I think
30.
David saw Marino. I never saw Marino play.
I did. My first year in Florida, I covered his final year. I got here midway through it.
Mr. Spivey, you're being a little cynical there. I appreciate it, but
By the
you
way,
guys- the rest of you are all right on it right now. Section 331 for a pair of tickets, $33 per ticket.
Oh, I was going to guess 38. I have a question. Someone in the chat room said that Stabler remains the last Alabama quarterback to win the Super Bowl. So what do we consider Hurts? I mean, he got his degree from Bama. He played.
Lower bowl 77, by the way, end zone seats, but for what it's worth.
I'm just curious. Doesn't Hurts go down? I know he played his final year at Oklahoma, but he got his undergrad degree at Alabama. He played all but 1 year of his career at Alabama. I mean, I consider Hurts Bama, not Oklahoma. But that's me.
Twitch chat and YouTube chat, before you freak out at 8 o'clock, we have obligations today. We are running a best of the final 2 hours. So when you start freaking out and texting the show, and why are you off of YouTube and Twitch? Because the show's off YouTube and Twitch at 8 o'clock, just so you know.
Thank you, Paula. 60 tomorrow. Yep. Lee Sterling tomorrow. Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick, a Canes preview, Pat Kerwin. Jam-packed show. Mark may even be going to the East Coast. Okay. In the Wayback Train. I mean, he did. There are 3 people who call me Dave: Kerwin, JP, and Troy.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We'll get a little bit into the college football playoff today, considering it gets underway tomorrow. First 2 games expected to be good. Hope they are. Hope the playoff can get off to that type of start. Close games between Oklahoma and Alabama.
It needs the first 2 games to be good, David. It really does.
Yep. And Miami against A&M.
I'm leaning both road teams, for the record.
Ooh.
I'm leaning both road teams. I will make my official picks tomorrow in our usual picks time slot. But that's where I'm leaning. That's where I've been right from the get-go. Like, that's where my gut has been from the moment the matchups were put on paper.
I don't think a road team won last year, did they?
No.
Because Ohio State whooped up on Tennessee. Notre Dame whooped up on Indiana. Penn State whooped up on a group of 5 school, wasn't it? And what was the other one? Clemson got beat on the road.
Penn State at SMU, didn't they?
Okay, yeah. And Clemson went to, did they go to like a Big 12 school or what have you? Okay. No, because Arizona State got the bye.
Texas, because Arizona State played Texas, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, the home teams were all 4-0 last year. So, be nice to see a road team win one of the first 2 games, because goodness knows they're not expected to win one of the last 2. And if the shocking upset were to happen, I don't know how many people are going to be watching, because the games are going to be on TNT, number 1, and number 2, they're going to be going head-to-head with the NFL. I don't know if you've heard, but it's a pretty popular league. So let me just ask you this. You don't know how it's going to end up. If we can go back in time, if you're the Dolphins, you taking Tua again? You don't know how it's going to end. Okay, it's the canvas is completely blank. You got to remember what his health was. Okay, Burrow went 1. It was a choice between Tua and Herbert. You knew what you were thinking back in the spring of 2020. If you had it to do over again, would you make that pick?
Well, no. I wouldn't, but I was in the tank for Tua. I thought it was the right guy. I thought what he did at Alabama, the way he threw the ball, I thought he was special. I was wrong. And Herbert's had his injuries, and he's not had a great moment yet in the league.
Well, not in the playoffs, because he's 0 for the playoffs. That's true.
Right. But David, a lot of this comes down to coaching. And the Flores and Tua thing was never going to work. They're just not right for one another. And if Herbert would have been there with Flores, maybe that would have worked out better.
Maybe.
For both.
Yeah, maybe. But, you and I were both on the Tua train.
Oh, yeah.
And we ended up being wrong. And here are the Dolphins 6+ years later, basically. And they're going to have to, at some point, do it all over again. For what it's worth, quickly, I would stay with Ewers, and I'm not taking a quarterback probably in this draft for where the Dolphins are going to be drafting. And I'm going to worry about, I got cap issues. I got a few young players I actually want to sign. And I think it's much more important who the general manager and who the head coach are going to be honest with you, than the quarterback. To me, they got to get that right. And then eventually, they'll get another shot at a quarterback somehow, some way.
But, Herbert never won a playoff game in San Diego / LA, but would that have been the same way if they'd have had competent coaching there? Because he may have had the worst coach in the league for a couple of years.
No doubt. And they had that huge lead at Jacksonville and blew it. And the head coach was the defensive coordinator, and it was the defense that blew the lead. Big lead, huge lead, 4-score lead. So, yeah.
So, we would think differently of him if they had just won that game. And they're banged up. Who knows, when they go to the playoffs, can they beat a good team come January? I don't know. I don't know. All going to be about matchups at that point. Can they even hold on to the 5 by that point, or will it be Buffalo? And that makes a big difference.
I mean, outside of the 2-4 seeds, you're going to have gaudy records be the other 12 teams in the NFL playoffs. I mean, the other 12 teams could all have 11 wins. I mean, that's how gaudy these playoff records could be. Outside of the 2-4 seeds, the NFC South and the AFC North champion.
But then you look at pedigree, and in the AFC, Broncos, Patriots, Jags, that would be none, and none. The Bills and Texans have the most playoff pedigree. Yeah, the Ravens and Steelers, but these are down years for both of those teams.
But is this a changing of the guard year? At the expense of Allen, at the expense of possibly Lamar, in which they go, wait a minute, you mean to tell me Mahomes and Burrow aren't in the playoffs and it's still not our year? No.
Yeah, get ready for that Denver-Seattle Super Bowl. You want to change into the guard, we'll give it to you.
Joke's on Mike Tirico. You waited all those years behind Al, and then you finally get your Super Bowl? Yeah. Think of the matchup you could get there, big fella. Or in your case, little fella.
Maybe an all-Florida Super Bowl. Jacksonville and Tampa Bay. That would be a thriller nationally.
Hey, they're making a big deal in Jacksonville about how the Jags-Broncos game is not like the highlighted national game this week. That I think Fox has the game, and I don't think Brady's doing it. And they're making a big deal in Jacksonville about how the hell could we not be the feature game?
Well, I think it's because the network a while ago didn't pick it, because it's not even in the 425 slot. It's a 405 start, so it's on CBS. It's on the other network. Because Steelers-Lions looks like that's going to get the national slot.
Right. And they're very unhappy in the 904. They're like, come on now. We've won 5 in a row.
How long ahead? Help me out, David. How long ahead do they have to pick that game? Is this just a bad draw for that game? I mean, could they have changed this 2 weeks ago? And I don't know if 2 weeks ago, the Lions and Steelers both looked a little better. I mean, the Steelers won this week, but it was Miami. So,
well, what they usually try to do is they try to just, the 425 game is the quote unquote best game of the day. That isn't Sunday Night Football. So it's a CBS 425 weekend, if you will, right? They get the late afternoon slot. So Fox doesn't have it, but Fox could still send, I believe, their number one crew to Jags Broncos at 405. And they're making a big deal in Jacksonville about how they ain't doing that. They feel a lot of disrespect. Broncos have won 11 in a row, best record in the league. For that matter, the Jags have won 5 in a row. They're leading their division.
I think that their feelings of disrespect are warranted. It is the best game of the day. It's not close. I mean, the Steelers are the worst team that's qualified for the play. If the playoffs started today, they are the worst team. Detroit's not in the playoffs. The other two teams are leading their division. One is very likely going to be the 1 seed. So I get it. But you just got to remember it's Jacksonville and Denver, and that doesn't. Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence don't move the needle. You know what does move the needle? At least that's what we found. The starting 5. It's next.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
That's right, John. That's 5-1 on the system. Had to sweat it out, too. Memphis did the worst thing possible to the system. They forced overtime. They made their last shot. I was praying Vandy hit that 3 at the buzzer. Vandy got up 7, missed the free throw. Then Memphis missed. They fouled Vandy again at 7. I thought they might stop. And then Memphis got an easy putback to make it 7, and they rode the clock out for a half-point cover. Looks like we'll have a system play on Saturday, too. Kentucky's hosting St. John's. And Ohio State's hosting North Carolina. Is that in Columbus or is that a neutral site? No, that's a neutral site. That does not count. Where is the Kentucky? That could be a neutral site game too. Yeah, those are both neutral sites. They don't count. That's a little Christmas tourney.
Canada relief. I don't think he has a future in college. He's a huge stiff.
Looks like we have Vandy's on the road against Wake Forest Sunday. The Saturday games are neutral site games. They do not count. Oh, here's one that's not going to work. UConn at DePaul on Sunday too. Oh, we got 3 system plays Sunday. Gonzaga at Oregon. Although it's in Portland, that's a neutral site or doesn't really count.
Doesn't count.
No, actually, we were just talking about it, Michael. They don't play a national game. It's a 4:05 game. It's not a national game. I know you just jumped in, but it's not a national game. 4:05 starts are not national games. 4:25 starts are national games.
So are you guys saying the lines moved 4.5 points in 3 days? Is that what you're saying? It opened Packers -3?
I had it opening at 1.5, so it's moved 1.5 to 1.5.
So it's moved 3 points. I mean, besides the Mike injury, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Jordan Love.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Huge show lined up for tomorrow. Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin, Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick, Gary Furman, who covers the Canes, to preview their playoff game Sunday at noon. So all on the show tomorrow. Right now it's time for...
All right, hang on.
Now it's time for...
The starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting 5.
And the starting 5 is brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST. Business, sports, and tourism. Embrace it. Know it. Love it. BST. Well, in 2019, the Dolphins were tanking for Tua. 2020, the Dolphins were drafting Tua, 5th overall. In 2025, they benched Tua with 3 games left in a lost season. The Tua Tagovailoa era in Miami certainly appears to be over after nearly 6 full seasons, 2 playoff appearances, no playoff wins. Quinn Ewers will be the 27th starting quarterback for the Dolphins since number 13, Dan Marino, retired. Jets, speaking of quarterbacks, are sticking with Brady Cook. at quarterback against the Saints, even though both veteran quarterbacks, Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, are deemed healthy enough to play. By the way, have we seen the last ever start for the Ohio State quarterback there? I mean, is this it for Justin Fields?
I would think so. I mean, when you can't start for essentially the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league, and you've had chances with now 3 teams.
Yeah.
Who's going to take a chance on him?
And for that matter, would you feel good if you were a decent team and, you and I put a lot of value in the backup quarterback position? Would you sign him as a backup?
No. Because he can't play from the pocket unless, maybe a team like Baltimore, David, where your first choice is a quarterback that runs.
Okay.
Maybe. But, if you're the Rams, if you're Detroit, if you're Pittsburgh, if Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, you would have to have a whole different offense for this guy because he can't play from under center and in the pocket.
Just asking.
Would you?
No. On a good team, no. If I'm a bad team and I just need to fill out the position for a year, well, I'm worried about the cap and the other parts of my roster, I might bring him on board. Okay, but no. One other football note, and maybe it's a whole bunch of nothing, but did you see the letter that the Bears sent out late yesterday?
I did, David. I did.
So the Bears want to build a new stadium.
And have for quite a while. I mean, this is not a new subject, obviously.
Right. And the Bears play in the oldest and smallest NFL stadium. And they want to change that. They want to build a big closed stadium in Arlington Heights, which is a suburb right by the airport, right by O'Hare, because there's a couple of major airports in Chicago. And, just make it a big old thing. And they'll get a Super Bowl, they'll get Final Fours, the whole deal. And apparently, according to the Bears, the state of Illinois doesn't give a damn. Because the Bears have said, listen, we'll build the stadium. We will pay for the stadium. But, the infrastructure around it and what have you, we need you guys to take care of that. And Illinois doesn't seem interested. The Bears said, hey, could you at least put it on the 2026 political calendar so that we can know that this will be addressed once and for all? And the political leaders in Illinois told the Bears, I don't think so. So the Bears put all that in an open letter yesterday and said, listen, this isn't, gamesmanship, but the city of Chicago doesn't have the money. The state of Illinois doesn't want to help us. We got to move forward on this thing. So don't get upset when we start looking at Northwest Indiana, okay? Because we got to build the stadium and we got to start soon. Because, well, we just have to. So we'll see what happens with that. How far? I grew up in Jersey. I was there when the Giants and eventually the Jets went from New York to New Jersey. But that was only a few miles. I mean, I'm curious. How far is Northwest Indiana from Chicago? And I've done a lot of driving. Isn't it 40 minutes?
David, I'm just going Chicago to Gary, Indiana, because that's kind of the first city you come to when you cross into the state of Indiana. That's 38 miles from downtown Chicago to Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, that's a move. That ain't going to fly, in my opinion. Now, they can do whatever they want. It's their team. But that ain't going to fly. NFL tonight. Battle of 11-3 teams. It's pretty sexy. Seattle's a 1.5-point home favorite against the Rams. Devontae Adams doubtful for the Rams. Left tackle Charles Cross ruled out for the Seahawks. Rams won the first meeting, close one in L.A. First place in the NFC West on the line. Top record in the NFC on the line. If the Rams win, they'll have swept the Seahawks. They'll all but have clinched the NFC West. If Seattle wins, believe it or not, the Niners are licking their chops because the Niners go, oh, we're a game back of Seattle. We've beaten Seattle already, and we host Seattle before the end of the season. If Seattle wins, the Niners can win the division and be the 1 seed. A lot riding Thursday Night Football tonight. College football, a couple of bowl games yesterday. Old Dominion took down South Florida in the Cure Bowl 24-10. And Delaware over Louisiana 20-13 in the 68 Ventures Bowl. Notre Dame running back Jadarian Price. He was the backup to Love the last 2 years. He declared for the NFL draft. And Ohio fired their head football coach, Brian Smith, they say with cause for, quote, serious professional misconduct, unquote. Not professional misconduct, serious professional misconduct. What's interesting is Smith and the Bobcats went 8-4 this year.
And he was fired no one said anything.
I don't think anyone still has said anything.
Right. There are a lot of unknowns with this one. No one cares about Ohio Bobcat football, but it's a wild story.
Now, let's face it, this is all about money. If they were to just fire him without cause, they own $2.5 million. With cause, they own Bubkus. Baseball, Rays and lefty Shane McClanahan agreed to a 1-year, $3.6 million deal, which is the average of what he's made the last 2 years when he has not pitched in the majors. McClanahan was one of the best pitchers in the American League until he had Tommy John surgery in August of 2023. They say he's healthy now and ready to go. Boy, could the Rays use him. Mets signed former Yankees closer Luke Weaver, 2 for $22. Phillies, same deal with Cubs righty Brad Keller, 2 for $22. Hockey. Panthers have won 6 of 7. Sam Bennett, the game-winning goal early, 3rd. Florida, 3-2 over the LA Kings. Utah beat Detroit 4-1. Sebastian Aho, 2 goals and a helper. Carolina over Nashville 4-1. Jake Allen, 37 saves for the Devils. They beat Vegas 2-1 in a shootout. And Joel Hofer, 24 saves for the Blues and a 1-0 shutout over Winnipeg. What is going on in Cleveland? The Cavs lost in Chicago by 16. They're 15-13.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. When I saw the score this morning, the first thing I did was look at the conference record. And, I mean, they're the 9 seed right now.
They were the best record in the East last year. They brought everybody back. What is going on? Chicago beat them 127-111. No John Morant, no Anthony Edwards. Memphis won in Minnesota 116-110. Remember when Udoka, the head coach of the Rockets, said, this is the worst officiated game I've been a part of in a long time. 2 of the officials don't belong out there, and the third one is a nice guy, but he's a deer in headlights. He got fined $25,000 for that. Listen, I actually think the head coaches should be allowed to say whatever they want. I really do. Okay, I hate the fact that you say anything at all, you get fined. But here's the deal. If that's how you feel as a league, that you can't criticize the officiating, You got to penalize this guy more than that. I'm serious. You want to stop it? Suspend the guy for a game.
Yeah, I mean, Vrabel didn't get suspended. He had some choice words for the officials in the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
Officials, and I don't believe he got fined.
Udoka said 2 of the 3 officials don't belong in the league. I loved it personally, but
David, as a broadcaster who was fined by a league for his comments about officials, you know I love it.
You know, I was suspended by a Division III conference for a game, and the University of Scranton actually went to bat for me, okay, and got the suspension overturned in between a Wednesday night game and a Saturday afternoon game. Yep. So I'm with you, Mark.
Can I ask you this question, David, because that's great. That tops my fine by the ECHL. It does. You were suspended.
Middle Atlantic Conference. Yep.
Was it for a men's game or a women's game? Because if it was a women's game, I would even be more impressed.
Men's game, okay? Scranton won late in a 600-seat barn at FDU Madison, and they pulled the plug on us at FDU Madison and knocked us off the air, okay? And I verbally addressed about 4 people with the conference and at FDU Madison while plugging us back in the day when, you know, you got disconnected. That was like, you know, an AOL startup. It took minutes to get reconnected again. Yeah. So
okay, so you just bashed people.
Yeah.
I mean, I did say that a certain referee was the worst referee in the history of hockey and should never be allowed to do another game again, and the league fined me for that. My GM paid the fine, by the way.
I called the commissioner biased and incompetent, and I called the people at FDU Madison a piece of blank.
So your history with calling conference commissioners incompetent started at Scranton,
right?
Not when you were writing columns.
Correct. It started when I was 24 years old.
Well done, you.
Thank you. Trey Young be back with the Hawks today, and the Knicks have decided they're not hanging the NBA Cup banner. Both the Lakers and the Bucks, who won the first 2, have hung the banner. The Knicks are like, no, that's okay. We'll leave the 73 championship banner up there by its lonesome. We're not hanging the NBA Cup banner.
You know, it's a great move, but it bums me out because you know I've never been to MSG, and I desperately want to see a sporting event there. My wife is going to a concert there with a friend coming up here in the next few months, whenever the hell it is. And there was part of me that was going to tell her to take a picture of that just so I could send it to you.
College hoops last night, a couple of things to very quickly mention. The 7'9" kid, Olivier Raoult for Florida, scored for the first time, but they didn't cover against St. Francis. Neither did Bama cover against South Florida. Our system play worked. Memphis forced overtime. We thought it was going to ruin it for us, but they covered by a half against Vandy. We're 5-1. And Doug Gottlieb's not going to do his talk show anymore because, well, he's having a decent year at Green Bay, and he wants to focus on coaching.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
The holidays are here, and we're wall-to-wall with thousands of GIA diamonds, 350 diamond bracelets, 225 pair of diamond studs, and thousands of other fine jewelry pieces, including Rolex watches.
And this is where Todd and I come in. We're in the store, right here with you. making sure you get the best value.
With this kind of selection and us guiding you through it, your gift will be the star of the season.
Visit the Diamond District today. Hablamos Español.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Coming up on a jam-packed Football Friday, Lee Sterling will join the show. Roy Cummings to talk the Bucks. Pat Kerwin will talk everything NFL. Gary Furman to talk the Canes and A&M. And J.P. Shadrick to talk the Jags. Miller and Moulton, Friday, 6 a.m. Jam-packed Football Friday on Miller and Moulton. Lee Sterling, Roy Cummings, Pat Kerwin, Gary Furman to talk the Canes and A&M, and J.P. Shadrick to talk the Jags. Miller and Moulton, 6 a.m. Friday.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Are the Dolphins moving on from Tua? Are the Bears moving on from Chicago? Hell, for that matter, Illinois. Hello. I don't know. Maybe it's because I lived in Jersey, but I think it was the distance. Okay. Also, at the time, I mean, the state of New York and the city of New York, they didn't have any money in the 70s. I mean, they were broke. The city of New York was literally broke. So there were a lot of us that didn't think it was a big deal when the Giants decided, Yankee Stadium wasn't working. And besides, Yankee Stadium was going to undergo a serious renovation. Hell, the Yankees were playing at Shea Stadium for a year and a half. And I don't know. I know it was a thing, but I don't know that 4 people canceled their season tickets over it. Mark, if you had to travel an hour more than you're used to traveling to go see your NFL team, would you keep your season tickets?
You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, you truly are. Yes, I would, because I grew up in an area where I had to travel a long distance to go to any team that I wanted to see. We were gigantic Michigan State fans in our family. My grandfather knew Duffy Doherty and Biggie Munn, and from going back to the 50s. So we always had Spartan season tickets. That's what we did. It was every bit of an hour and 15 minutes to go from Saginaw to East Lansing on a Saturday morning. And we'd get picked up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock, whatever the hell it was, and make that trip so we could tailgate and be there at, 3 hours before kick or whatever the hell it was. So, yes, I would. I had to drive an hour and a half to go to a Tigers game or a Red Wings game. When the Pistons moved to Auburn Hills, it was a treat because it saved us about a half hour to go to the game. And the Silverdome wasn't that bad either. So I'm used to it.
Okay.
But
that's fair enough.
What the problem is to me, and I don't know this, and I was trying to check quickly, and I didn't finish it before I had to talk. But can you take the L to Arlington Heights?
I believe there was a lot of mass transit that could get you to Arlington Heights. Yes.
Right. When you leave the state,
right.
My guess is you're leaving all of the public transportation that would take you to a game.
Correct.
My mother-in-law lives in the South Hills, whatever hills, North Hills, whatever, one side or the other, who cares? But there is literally a train that is less than a mile from my mother-in-law's house. We walk to the train station. It drops you right off at the stadium for Steelers games. It's really easy. Every stop you make, more and more fans are piling on the train. It's simple. It makes your life so easy to get to and from the game. And pro games are vastly different than college games. Yeah,
True.
I get the pro fan tailgates. And I understand that in certain places, it's great tailgating. I get that Kansas City does a hell of a job. I understand it. But the pro tailgate is not the college tailgate. It's not.
No.
It's not close.
Nope.
It's a different atmosphere. On Sundays, some people would rather just go to the bar, have a lunch and a drink, and then head to their game at 12:30, 12:35, and sit down right before kick. So the Arlington Heights thing, while I never thought was the right move for the Bears, I just kind of think of, I like the fact that the Lions are now in downtown Detroit instead of playing in Pontiac. I like that all of Detroit's teams are downtown. And I'm not from anywhere near downtown Detroit. I'm from Saginaw. It's a hick town 100 miles north, okay? So I love the fact that the teams are downtown. I like the vibe. Whether I go to a Tigers game, and I've never been to Ford Field, but I've been to Comerica a bunch, and they're right next to one another. Not been to the new hockey stadium. I've been to the Joe a gazillion times. I liked the vibe. You know, there were some bars you could go to when the Joe was still around that they ran a bus right down and dropped you off. Like, this is great. And then they picked you up after. Different vibe for a pro game than it is at a college game.
Yep. But, my understanding also from Chicago is that the suburbs are kind of north and west of the city. And so obviously if they go to Indiana, you're going 40 to 60 miles south. So I find this very interesting. Okay. The Bears say they're not doing this as leverage. They're saying we've spent years on this. We're getting nowhere. We need a new stadium. Okay. And if we have to go to Northwest Indiana, then damn it, we're going to go to Northwest Indiana. Very curious what the league's going to think of this, by the way, because the league can get involved in things like this. Like, the league's totally supportive of what Haslam's doing in Cleveland, even though most people in Cleveland are very much against it. The league is totally supportive of it. I'll be curious where the league is on this, because trust me, the league was loving the idea of a Super Bowl in Chicago. Loving the idea that Chicago could be a Super Bowl city. And Northwest Indiana, not so much.
And look, I've only been to Chicago once in my life. I don't count flying through, but I've only spent time in Chicago once. I had an amazing time. It was a long time ago. And I've been through Gary, Indiana a couple of times. I remember Gary, Indiana being one thing, an absolute dump. I don't know if it still is. My guess is it still is. Gary in my hometown used to battle for most violent city in America per capita. It was, Gary and Saginaw, two wonderful places. So I can't see the league wanting to be in Gary, Indiana, David. I can't.
I can't imagine that the league would want a team not in Chicago, but two teams in the state of Indiana. No, can't imagine they're in favor of this. So,
and there's part of me that, laugh is the wrong word, but I do find some sick humor in the Bears' woes getting this stadium when they brought Kevin Warren in to do this very thing, because I don't know what he's good at. Come on. The Big Ten expanded while he was on vacation in Europe.
Yes,
let's remember that.
Yep.
When he was the commissioner of the Big Ten Conference and they decided to add UCLA and USC, he was in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Very instrumental in the process.
Right.
Now, I will say he was instrumental in the Viking Stadium. And it is a great stadium. Not a good stadium. It's a great venue. I think it's a top 3 indoor venue in the league. I mean, it's not SoFi, but it's gorgeous. And so, now him getting involved in football operations with the Bears, that would scare them out of me. Him working on a stadium seems to be the one thing he's proven he can do. But I'm very curious about this. We may be moving to Indiana. I don't know. I have a hard time with that one sticking. I have a hard time with anyone taking that seriously. The state of Illinois and the National Football League. I could be wrong, because I'll say when the Giants built Giant Stadium, that place was a dump. It was a swamp. The running joke, Hoffa's buried there. I mean, there wasn't anything there. That's why the state of New Jersey said, "You want land? We got land. Here you go. Knock yourself out." And yeah, we'll build the ramps off of the turnpike and what have you. Okay, sure, we'll do the roads around the stadium, but here you go. Here's the land. Knock yourself out. Of course, all the teams stay in New York City. don't really stay at the Dumpy Sheridan right by the stadium, but that's a whole other story. I don't know. Interested me. Miller and Moulton. So did you hear Gottlieb as to he said he had kind of an epiphany lately? He said, listen, I really think we have a good group, and I think we're building something special here. But the reason I'm walking away from my radio show, like the other day, I wasn't with the team when we traveled to a game because I had to do the show and then I had to travel in separately. Now, I didn't miss any practice. I didn't miss any pregame speech to the team. I didn't miss the game. He goes, but I wasn't with the team when we traveled to the game. And I just felt that the kids deserved more. He said, and I just want to wipe away the whole stigma that people don't think I'm serious about this because I've also kept the radio show. But I think he used the phrase, I'm putting the radio show on hold.
Yes.
So does that mean come late March, you're back doing the show when your season's over? You can do the show April through August, September? I'm just curious. Or are you putting it on hold while you're still the coach at Green Bay? And then once you get fired, whenever that day comes, then you go back to the radio show.
Well, I'm sure he'll want to go back to the radio show. Will the radio show want him back? He's been very successful with his radio show. There's no doubt he's been on the air a long, long time. But I do think, there's been a little criticism of him, and he doesn't like it. He's had a couple of different media fights. He's gone after some, second-tier websites basically saying that they don't even have people that work there. And while he's having a DM fight with one guy, he's basically acting like that person doesn't exist on his radio show. He's played both sides here long enough. And I think he finally, I don't know, was it him? Did he finally get pressure from the AD at Green Bay who told him he could keep both jobs? Never thought that was a smart move. I don't know how you could do both well. I really don't. These things take time.
He also said by doing both, he has no life. He says, so it's part of the reason why I'm giving up the show also.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Big OC, I would challenge you on that. I mean, and we just talked about it. The Bears said that they'll build the stadium. They want some infrastructure help. If they're basically building a more than a stadium, they need some concessions from Illinois. I don't think that the city should be lining up to pay for stadiums either.
No.
But to help to give them a few tax breaks they do this for businesses all the time. We just don't hear about it. If you think down here that Hertz didn't get some breaks to move their company headquarters from New Jersey to Estero, Florida, come on now. This is what happens. This is why we have an EDC. This is what the Development Council does. They try to lure businesses to come, and they give them all kinds of concessions for doing so because it brings jobs and more money to the economy and things like that. So Miller and Moulton have never had a problem with government help in stadiums. Now, I don't think they should be paying for all of it.
I don't believe they should be paying for any of it, but I do think they should be paying for all of the infrastructure around it. And I do think that they should lock in a good tax situation because also the team is going to secure their financing based on that. So I do think that that's a fair trade, I feel, because I think the return for the city in the area is great. Not just financially. DC, help me out. Is Arlington Heights still in Cook County?
Yeah, I believe it is, David.
Okay.
We are only taking off Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I just caught the end of that. I didn't see exactly who sent that. But for the person who asked, we are taking off the 24th and 25th, and we are taking off the 31st and 1st. I will be taking off the 30th as well.
Pop and Jake, here's what I'm wondering. Does Army-Navy have to move to rivalry weekend but play on Black Friday and own the noon slot?
Ooh, I don't mind that. I was actually thinking, I know you'd hate this, David. What if that's the week 0 game?
Oh, no, I'd hate that.
I know you would, but I'm trying to give them their own spot.
No, I know. I know.
Thank you very much, Weezer.
Yes. Yes, I did. I think if
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Jam-packed football Friday tomorrow. Lee Sterling, J.P. Shadrick, Roy Cummings, Pat Kerwin, Gary Furman, who covers the Canes. They kick off against A&M noon on Saturday Eastern. Tomorrow night, Oklahoma, Alabama, the rematch, this time in Norman. Bama started as a slight favorite, right? Now Oklahoma's a 1.5-point home favorite. I mentioned home because, Mark, did you see what the city of Oxford released yesterday?
I did not.
Ole Miss hosting Tulane in a first-round playoff game. Now, listen, to me, this is kind of like when you go to trial and the one side brings in their experts and the other side brings in their experts. Okay. And, I think when you start talking about economic impact, there's a great deal of debate and a huge area to be debated over. But, Mark, the University of Mississippi and the city of Oxford have concluded that the ability to host this playoff game is worth $74 million to the city of Oxford and surrounding areas.
All right. If you say so. That seems
Right.
a little high to me.
It seems high to me, too.
If they'd have said $7.4 million, I would have said, okay, that seems about right.
But let's just say it's 75% high, that the number's more like 20 million instead of 74 million. It's still $20 million.
Yep, sure is. Hey, that's hotel. These hotels, these restaurants live for 7 Saturdays a year.
Right. And now here you are, right before Christmas, able to sell out everything for 2 days and nights minimum.
Right. I mean, and the good news is, David, unlike the pack and ship place I was at earlier this week where the woman couldn't bitch enough about how it's busy this time of year, Oxford seeming to embrace it. Yeah. Sending gifts up to the in-laws and the brother-in-law and the mother-in-law in Pittsburgh, and the lady said out loud, I hate this time of year. I mean, she couldn't complain enough about having to be at work. Now, I go to this place a lot because my wife likes to ship stuff to Pittsburgh, and I'm the one that has to do all of it. She's been there a while. That's like a bartender in Southwest Florida going, God, I hate season.
Right. I hate the 5 months a year in which its money is falling out of the sky.
Right.
What am I going to do with
good
this?
For Oxford to embrace it. Does that mean that whether we go to 16 or not, and I thought you made some very valid points yesterday logistically about 8 games in a weekend and how that gets done, how difficult that will be, is 12 the better number? But we don't decide that. We think it's going to 16. I thought you made excellent points on why 12 might be the right number. Even if it's at 12, we think the second round will be on campus pretty soon.
Right. For just this reason. I mean, it's a TV show, one, and then what is it also? It's an economic generator for the schools and the programs and, the cities. Well, so let me get this straight. You're one of the 4 best teams in the country, and you don't get any of that, but the 5th through 8th best teams in the country get that? What? Wait, okay, well, can we give it to them first, and then can we get it second? So that this way 8 communities get, the honor and get the print money?
And the best teams get a home field advantage.
Right.
It works for this other league called the NFL. Just saying.
Right.
And we understand the obligations to bowls, and you could still do that with what we're talking about. But we'll see what happens. So good for Oxford to come out and give those numbers. And, I wish it was going to be. I hope it's a better game. I don't think it's going to be. But let's hope the first 2 are fantastic. Let's hope tomorrow night Alabama and Oklahoma delivers, and let's hope A&M and the Canes deliver Saturday at noon Eastern. I did see one other, you brought up Gottlieb a couple segments ago, leaving his radio show or taking a break or whatever it is he's calling it. Did you see it looks as if Jonathan Wagner is going to leave the Golf Channel and be part of CBS's coverage as an on-course commentator?
Really?
And I think that's great for CBS, but he's not doing both. What I'm reading is that he's leaving and he's going to CBS. And as a golf fan, that kind of sucks. I wish he could do both. Because when they're not going to, unless it's going to CBS Sports Network and they're going to start doing post-game, if you will, on CBS Sports Network, some of the best stuff he does is well after the broadcast. I mean, his recreating the shot and his interviews and the stuff that would never see the light of day on CBS, that might go away, and that stinks.
I agree with you because also, the Golf Channel has much more visibility than CBS Sports Network. Most people don't even know that it either A exists or B, where is it? So I'm with you. I'm wondering, do they try to loosen up their coverage? Can you do that? Can you work any of what he does into the actual 2 to 6, 3 to 6 coverage, or is his specialty the post-game show?
I don't know. Not since, a while ago when Maltby was kind of in his heyday, have we had an on-course commentator that is this popular, not just with the golf fan, but Wagner's really popular with the players. They all like him. He used to be one of them. He was a journeyman, but he's really well liked by the players. And I happen to have had a friend of mine who was trying to qualify for the U.S. Open. This goes back probably 10, 12 years ago. And a buddy of mine caddied for two friends of mine. One caddied, one played. They played with him. And both of them just think he's the most fantastic human they've ever met. And, they played 36 holes with him. It's a long day.
Mm-hmm.
You get to know someone over 36 holes. So what we see on TV, according to the two of them, is the genuine article, that he's just that good of a guy. And so I hope that they let him have free reign, but this is golf on CBS. There's not a lot of free reign, David.
No, I will say it is a bit of a new era with CBS. There are a few different people that are running. There's a new president of CBS Sports. There's been a new producer at CBS Golf in the last 3-4 years. Okay, they're lightening it up a little bit, but I hear you. It's not post-game on the Golf Channel. I can understand why, though. Golf Channel's NBC, and I know that they just had a split and who's under what umbrella, but basically Golf Channel's NBC. I could see where it's like, hey, you have to make a choice. You're working for one or the other. And so, he chooses the more high profile and probably the more lucrative gig.
Oh, yeah. I don't blame him a bit. It's just, sometimes they let these guys who are doing, a smaller role, if you will, because they don't have every tournament. Right. They let them double dip a little bit.
Well, we thought, if Phil hadn't gone LIV, we actually think Phil Mickelson would be doing golf on both CBS and NBC. We thought that, because both jobs kind of opened at the same time. I mean, CBS would have been a lock. Him and Nance are friends. Okay, he went to his wedding. He went to his. Okay, I mean, that would have been a lock. Plus the Masters, 3-time champion. He definitely would have been the main analyst on CBS. But I actually think, they moved off of Azinger. I think we thought there was a chance that Phil would actually be the voice of golf. You turned golf on 36 weeks a year, Phil would be the analyst. I'm sure Amy Mickelson wouldn't have liked it. He'd be gone all the time.
He'd been gone all the time for 30 years anyhow. Who cares?
Well, there is that. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Cash the checks.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
The
details.
2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I got a trade proposal for you.
All right. Where do you got Giannis going?
Well, Felipe.
God dang, that was funny.
It was funny.
That was fun and funny. I enjoyed that.
Well, Felipe, here's what I'm thinking.
I do love it, David, when I play golf and the guys will start asking about the show once in a while, and they know we have good guests, and a lot of them now know what you do. And every once in a while, someone will say, "Well, if you need me as a guest," so, yeah, I was always thinking, Gary Danielson, Pat Kerwin, Scott Colburn. Yeah, that really goes.
Right. Yep.
And then they go, "Well, maybe I'll call in." I'm like, "Yeah, we don't take calls." Like, really? I'm like, "Yeah, you know why?" Just because of that reason. Because you don't add much, and you think you do. No, since you got Gary Furman, I don't think I'm going to the East Coast. I don't have a slot for the East Coast.
Well, you could at 9:21.
That's the only slot he could get, which would be a perfect NBA segment.
Start it with a touch of Canes and then
I was going to tell Jake to get up at 6 and do the first two with me. Little father-son for the holidays.
at that. Tell him it's punishment for not doing what he was supposed to do. You owe me, son. Shimko, sometimes we're a little early for him sometimes. So it depends on the week. That we're a little earlier than he'd like to be.
It's funny, Jim, that you say that. I have friends who understand why we don't and still think the shows that allow bad callers and then the caller to get ripped on by the host is funny. I don't enjoy that. I don't want I guess I'm past the point of being mean all the time. I can still be mean. Quickly, David, just to let you know, yesterday, finished golf. One of the guys in our group who barely plays in our group, and he's not well-liked, and he's a bit of an a-hole. He is. Okay, you're not allowed in our club to be on your cell phone inside the club. It's an actual rule. He's sitting at the bar on his phone on speaker.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
And I sit, the only seat is next to him. So I'm not drinking right now. I'd like a root beer, please. I mean, loud. Thank you. And I'm looking at him, yelling. He finally gets off the phone, and I undress him. I verbally undress him. And he's, well, I got a lot going on. I said, we all got a lot going on. You can walk outside with your damn phone. You're not that important. Oh, it was great.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So, the big news yesterday, the Dolphins benching Tua, the assumption that that's it. He's played his last game, and they'll cut him in the offseason, and they'll figure out whether or not they're taking the $99 million cap hit all at once, or they're going to divvy it up.
What would you do, by the way? I would divvy it up. I don't think you can have whatever 30-some-odd% of your cap to one person who's not on your team.
I would divvy it up because I also have to take the Tyreek hit next year. So I need the $30 million in flexibility, move it to 27, which would then be, I think, less than 10% of the cap, most likely. So I would divvy it up because there's other things I have to do. And I'd like to use that 30-something million to sign Achane and Brooks and a couple of other guys that I actually want to keep. But the assumption is that that's it. He's taking his last snap, and they'll take the financial hit however they're going to take it. I heard something yesterday, and they actually posted it during our show on X, in which someone said, well, you could trade him. And it's like, who's going to want him? He comes with a big salary, and,
he's untradeable.
Okay. And here's what the proposal was. You make it work financially, where the Dolphins have to assume, as much of the contract so that what they're trading to the Indianapolis Colts is then equal to what it is the Dolphins are getting in return from the Indianapolis Colts. And Mark, the trade proposal was Tua and a second-round pick to Indianapolis so that the Dolphins can get a little bit of cap relief and not have to eat all of it. Oh, by the way, the Colts unload Anthony Richardson. Now, I don't know if for cap reasons, if the Colts/Dolphins would have to pick up his fifth-year option because he's only under contract technically through next year. Now, at the end of this season, We all know the Colts aren't going to pick up his 5th-year option. But if to make a trade happen, and if somebody has to pick up that 5th-year option, and for what it's worth, by the way, Richardson next year would make around 10, 11 million. And then I think he'd make 13 million if you picked up his 5th-year option. So you're acquiring Anthony Richardson for like 2 years and 24 million. And you're unloading Tua, and you have to give the Colts a decent pick, a Friday draft pick. Here, help us out. But for helping us out, A, we'll take him off your hands, but B, you also give us a little bit of cap relief. We really appreciate it. But think about the dilemma the Colts are in. They ain't keeping Richardson. Phillip Rivers ain't coming back and playing for him next year at 45 in all likelihood. But Daniel Jones is going to be a free agent, and he's coming off of 2 major injuries. I mean, there's no guarantee you'll be able to keep him. He may go somewhere else. Or physically, he may be breaking down because Daniel Jones is suffering major injuries every year.
So wait, let me get this straight. The Colts, who drafted Anthony Richardson, who can't stay healthy and cannot play football.
Right.
Who have Daniel Jones that they may or may not want to re-sign.
Or be able to.
Who is also injured. That this person who, I'm not even going to say you did it. You're just repeating it, which could be more criminal than actually posting it. That the solution is to get an often concussed, terrible quarterback with a huge price tag, even though Miami's going to eat some of the salary, if not all of it.
Well, they're going to eat it so that having Tua is similar to carrying Richardson financially. Okay, the Dolphins would make it work so that the Colts aren't, absorbing any more of a cap hit.
Okay. I don't fully understand the salary cap going forward if past this year, past the 2026 regular season. I get where the Dolphins get a financial break there, but the contract is longer than that. So I don't know what the cap ramifications in 27 and 28 would be for the teams and how that would work. But I would think in order to make something like that happen, you would need Irsay to come back from the dead and be on a 3-day mushroom bender to try to take that trade.
Okay.
That's just me.
All right.
I would drug test anyone who accepted that trade. I would look at this is where, to me, and I do get where the Colts are from a quarterback standpoint. I understand that. But to trade for a guy who's one concussion away from being done, who has been injured a lot, although he hasn't been the last 2 years, who plays scared and looks as if he can't play, I'm not helping. I don't think any team should help out the Miami Dolphins, or for that matter, any team who makes a bad decision on a player. No. Keep them down. Keep them buried. Keep them as far away from being good as is humanly possible. Well, I think this is a sensational idea for the Miami Dolphins. I think it would be a horrific idea for anybody that would accept that trade.
Okay, well, they're not doing it to help the Dolphins. They're getting a second-round pick, a decent second-round pick in return. I mean, they're going to get a top 45 pick probably in this year's draft. They'll get a mid-second rounder in the 2026 draft. That's number one. So that's a pick of value. Secondly, the Colts don't have much of a quarterback room for next year right now. They've got Riley Leonard.
Right. No, I got you.
And
I understand what you're saying. I just wouldn't do it.
I get it. And
a first-round pick, I might consider it. This is kind of like what we thought, David, when the Rams and Lions made the trade. That when they sent Goff to Detroit, they had to send picks for Detroit to take Goff. Now, it turns out that Goff can play, but That's what this reminds me of, kind of.
Okay, well, would I give up a first round pick? Probably not. Okay, I think it would have to be a huge cap benefit to me to give up a first round pick. But it was just a proposal that the Colts quarterback room going forward. I mean, first off, Grandpa Rivers is trying to coax him into the playoffs this year, and right now the only quarterback they have under contract for next year are Riley Leonard and Anthony Richardson. And does anybody think they even want to keep Anthony Richardson around? So, I just didn't know if you think that Tua would be a good backup quarterback for you. Also, think about the situation the Colts are in right now. And we said a month ago that the Colts and others should be addressing backup quarterback at the deadline. You're a good team. Anthony Richardson was hurt. The only other guy was Riley Leonard. You're trying to win a division here. You need to do better than that. And sure enough, it's bit him in the you-know-what. And I'm just wondering, if you're the Colts, you bring back Daniel Jones. He's your guy. What if Tua's your backup for 2026?
And David, these are two different questions. Now, Miami would have to give up, but Miami would have to eat so much of that salary for me to consider it.
Well, but they're eating it. See, if you're the Dolphins, you're going to eat it anyway. Okay, if you make a deal with the Colts, you're going to get some cap relief.
Yes.
Yes, you'll have to give up a second-round pick, but you're going to get some cap relief. You get Anthony Richardson whether you think he's worth anything or not. By the way, your quarterback room next year, Tua's gone, Zach Wilson's gone, and, you got Quinn Ewers.
Right.
So, listen, would I do it? No. Would I do it from either side? No. But I actually thought, this is somebody being creative here. And two teams whose quarterback rooms next year don't look good. I mean, what if the Colts can't keep Daniel Jones? I mean, there are 6 teams who Daniel Jones would be an upgrade. You don't think they're going to be
Miami's one of them. I mean, yeah. Miami's flat out one of them.
Right, and there's a lot of people not sold on this quarterback draft class that think that I'm only taking a quarterback because I need one, but I'm not necessarily sure any of them are any good.
You're actually getting to the larger problem. And while there are some really good quarterbacks and the resurrection of the Mayfields and the Sam Darnolds and even maybe Mac Jones of the world are nice things to know, the quarterback position, the fact that Phillip Rivers was brought back shows you how iffy the quarterbacking is in the league right now. I mean, there are a lot of teams. The Jets need a quarterback. The Dolphins need a quarterback. We don't know what Indianapolis is doing. Arizona needs a quarterback. Vegas needs a quarterback. I mean, there are plenty of teams out there that don't just need backups. They need starters, David.
Cleveland needs a quarterback. Pittsburgh is going to need a quarterback because this is Rodgers last year.
Is it?
Well, he's telling everybody it is. He's saying, I'm leaving it open-ended, but I'm planning as if this is my last year. Okay? Remember, Jameis is under contract with the Giants next year. Mac Jones is under contract next year with the Niners. All right? And neither team's interested in trading them. Neither team. Jameis will be the backup next year, okay? And they love him from a guy standpoint. And Shanahan loves Mac Jones. And look at what he's done for him this year. They wouldn't be in the position they're in without Mac Jones. I mean, is anybody going to want Russell Wilson to be their backup? Is Russ even interested in wearing the hat and the clipboard? Or will he just retire?
You going to take a shot at Kirk Cousins this year? I mean, is he proven that he's worthy? So, there's a quarterbacking into your with the class that's coming in and so many unknowns. Yeah, Mendoza, okay, the kid at Oregon. Okay, we'll see.
I mean, is somebody going to sign Carson Wentz again? We don't know if he's interested in playing football or not. Will he be healthy? As for Kirk Cousins, Penix may not be ready opening day next year. All right. The Falcons may be keeping Kirk Cousins because they need a starting quarterback in September. And they're probably going to have a new coach.
And, the Saints, with what they have, they're stuck with that probably for next year too, and trying to build around it and hope that the quarterback play improves. So there's a quarterback problem in the league right now.
And that's why I'm wondering, is there a creative? Remember, when the Rams and Lions, you brought up a fascinating trade. None of us saw a trade like that coming. It was very creative. I mean, not only did the Rams give the Lions Goff, they gave him a first-round pick. Here, please take him off my hands. He's broken. And then guess what? They put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Now, I think you and I physically wonder if Tua can ever be put back together again.
Yeah,
he doesn't look it right now.
No, I don't know. Between the hip, between the concussions, between
Right.
all the problems, I don't know if this guy can ever be a competent NFL quarterback. As a backup, David, I'd take Tua as a backup.
Well, there you
Because
go.
I think, because one, you get lucky in the schedule, and let's just say your 3 games, 2 of them are against mid to below average teams. Well, we know Tua can beat those teams.
Well, and not only that, he just won 4 games in a row handing the ball to Achane. Well, hell, if he has to fill in for a couple games in Indianapolis, he's going to hand the ball to Jonathan Stewart. Also, don't you think it'll help him? He doesn't have a ton of arm strength. Where is he playing his home games?
Yeah, in a dome.
All right, 72 degrees, no wind. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was creative.
I find it interesting. I wouldn't do it if I were Indianapolis.
Okay, and that's fair.
I'm not in the business of helping other teams out.
Well, but you're not. You're improving your quarterback room. You are. I mean, you are. As sad as that is, you are. And you're getting a second-round pick, a top 50 pick in the draft.
People in Miami would lose their minds if Miami traded Tua and a pick just to get rid of him. They would.
If you save $15 million in cap room each year,
I got you. And that to me, okay, that's a great number. $15 million in cap room, or your second round pick for a team that needs players.
with their drafting record, and we could have some jokes about with their second round drafting record over the years. Boom, boom.
Yeah. Yes. John Beck rings in my head right now, David.
Pat White.
Pat White. Yes.
Chad Henne.
Okay.
That's just the quarterback position. We could start bringing up offensive linemen if you'd like.
I can't handle that. No, I can't. No, Jack, I can't handle the truth. Miller and Moulton. Miss any of the show? MillerandMoulton.com. Thanks for listening. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy.
We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The holidays are here, and our special showcases of overstocks and estate jewelry is waiting.
50% off diamond bracelets, rings, earrings, pendants, even stunning colored gemstone jewelry with tanzanite, sapphire, rubies, and more.
Todd and I are in the store every day to help you uncover the perfect gift.
Wrap up a little magic this year.
Hurry in. These 50% off deals won't last. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
This is Miller and Moulton.